away.
Jake Voskuhl not usually option number one, and then he goes over the back to commit a foul. That's been a problem for Voskuhl over the course of his career. Reggie Greenwood, one of the officials tonight. Jim Burr and John Cowell, the other two. Everybody's standing at a gamble here in the early going, waiting for that first bucket.
Full court pressure, no real trap, just some pressure to try to run some time off the clock.
Here's Kirkland, number 22. Edmund Saunders on him in the battle of power forwards, but Kirkland a little bit quicker, can put it on the floor. Here's Kirkland in heavy traffic with 6 on the shot clock. Now open for the 18-footer. And rebound, Kitwana Reimer, the new starting center for UMass. A fresh 35, travel on DePina.
Yeah, he definitely traveled. He was just a little bit anxious. But if you take a look at the history of this series, you can see right there the last time that UMass has won was 1983. UConn has been dominating this game, but it's still a great rivalry. You got two, states touching. You get a little summer talking back to one another. I still think it's a great series to have.
Bruiser Flint said, somebody said, well, isn't it great that this rivalry is going again? He said, you know, it'd be better if we actually managed to win one of them. They were off for a few years in the early to mid-90s. They just resumed the rivalry 3 years ago, and since then UConn has won all 3. Suleiman Wan into the game for Jake Voskuhl, and he just fired a missile right through the hands of Saunders.
What's happening, though, is Jake Voskuhl takes a seat with Khalid Al-Amin. If he gives the ball up, they've got Jonathan DePina on it, and he won't let Khalid give it back. Khalid Al-Amin is the guy that runs the offense for the Huskies.
Early substitution for UConn with Wan coming in, and he's a senior.
Because he can be a little bit more active on the glass. Reimer is the one big player that can give UConn some trouble.
And here they look for Reimer inside. Good position, but left the shot way short, and it's UConn ball.
Reimer's a guy that they call him Kid, that playing down on the block, he can probably be their most effective. He turns. He thinks that Juan is going to block that shot, and he just didn't stroke the basketball. And I just think if he just goes there and take a chance on getting fouled.
They're not used to standing quite this long here at a gamble, but 2 minutes and 20 seconds in, still scoreless.
Pretty good defense being played by UMass. That's why UConn hadn't got the score up yet.
El-Amin having to work very hard just to get open, and a tough 3. Reimer with a strong rebound, then lost the handle. And Edmund Saunders feeling pretty good about himself as he gives UConn an early lead.
Because Reimer had the ball and he ended up dropping it right in the hands to Saunders. I mean, Khalid Al-Amin takes a tough shot, but Reimer climbs to get it, and he loses control in his effort to try to block Sanders' shot. He fouls Sanders. Inside position, he's got to come clean with it. Didn't do it. Possible three-point play for the Huskies.
Saunders, a 6'8" junior out of Waterbury, Connecticut. He makes it 3-0. UMass has done a good job thus far against the UConn pressure. Brooks gets inside. He is strong.
This is the guy that they really think is going to make up for a lot of the loss that they had on the inside because he's so explosive. I mean, watch him explode. Get the ball, pump fake, now watch him go up, draw contact, control, get it off the glass to get it to go in.
2 years ago, Crooks played sparingly at St. John's. Transferred, sat out last year. Now a starter for UMass. Jonathan DePina's gone out. There's Monty Mack. 18 points per game last year.
Well, it'll be interesting because with Crooks, they can take Mack off the ball, which is probably a better position for Monty Mack, and that does allow him to score a little better. But you can see Crooks can score as well.
Here's Justin Brown into the game for UConn. The 7-footer from Australia jams it home. Already the 3rd different center that Jim Calhoun has had in there, from Voskuhl to Long to Brown in the first 3 minutes of the game.
That's what we talked about. The interior, the front court play is a little bit better for Connecticut now.
Brooks with the baseline jumper.
He's feeling it. After he made that shot, you can see he was pretty excited about it.
Outstanding high school player from Everett, Massachusetts. It's an all Boston backcourt for UMass. Whether it's DePina, Mack, or Crooks, all three of them are from the Boston area.
And Crooks came back, unfortunately, because his father was struggling. So he wanted to come back to be closer to his dad. Oh, that was basket interference.
Saunders has been very strong on the glass.
Because Reimer pulled his hand back because he was about to do it, and then Saunders was able to get it to go in.
Edmund Saunders with 5 of UConn's 7. After a sluggish 2.5 minutes, the last minute and a half has been up and down.
This is the tempo we thought we'd see.
UMass wants to run a little more this year. They're quicker, but that plays into UConn's hands. Way off is Mack. He took 19 shots in Saturday's win over Iona, made only 6 of them.
Well, he hadn't practiced in 3 weeks. He's had a stress fracture. He practiced on Wednesday only. And they'll call a travel on this, but Mack had practiced just Wednesday prior to that game. So that's one of the reasons he wasn't very effective.
4:15 into the game. It's UConn by 2. Voskuhl's already out, but Edmund Saunders is picking up the slack on the glass. He's got 5. UConn's up 2. Jake Voskuhl back into the game for UConn. Huskies up 2 early. Later on tonight on ABC, it's Monday Night Football as Tim Brown and the Oakland Raiders. They need this one. They're 5-4 in a very competitive AFC West. The Broncos struggling at 3-7. Al Michael Boomer Esiason have the call for you. Check your local listing. Monday Night Football on ABC Sports.
They made an interesting adjustment here. Not even in the full court. They had Kirkland bring the ball up on Saunders because Crooks does not want to dribble with his left hand. And they wanted to make sure that Khalid Al-Amin could really put pressure on him.
Crooks in the corner's got a size advantage on Al-Amin. Gets inside. And a foul is called.
You can see if he goes to his right, he's confident enough he can make plays.
Number 51, Edmund
Shannon Crooks off to a very quick start.
Personal foul, the 3rd on the team. At the line for UMass shooting 2, Shannon Crooks.
So he's got all 5 of UMass's points. And Edmund Saunders with 5 of 7 UConn appearances. Crooks at high school in his senior year averaged 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 9 assists. A little bit of everything. And he was another one of the big men for UMass, Anthony Oates, a 6'10 senior.
Great kid, a big body. They want to try to conserve Reimer as much as they can, so they don't want him to get tired. So Oates comes in, he'll bang around, and that might be the right way to play against Voskuhl.
Voskuhl gets an angle.
Maybe not. Because I tell you what they did. When Voskuhl went out of the game, it was really to learn by sitting and looking.
Off the hands of Freeman out of bounds.
That's really what that is. Crooks throws that pass. I'm not sure who could have caught it. He was trying to throw it to Oates. The only way Oates could have caught that is throw his chest in the way.
I'll tell you, we found out today during the UMass shoot-around, the baskets are strong. If Oates didn't pull it down with some of the dunks, it's not good. I mean, he is a strong fellow.
He's a good guy.
Long look for Freeman. The follow by Saunders won't drop, and then a touch foul on Saunders.
Yeah, he actually got away with coming over the back, but Freeman got out, and we talked about, him fitting in. Freeman's ability to get out on the floor. You see him right there in the center of your screen, and Khalid Al-Amin does the right thing. Throw it ahead. Freeman never gets himself going to the basket because, again, he's thinking a little too much.
Foul on Saunders, number 2 on him. He is out of the game, and here is Ajo Day.
Entering the lineup,
Juice. That's what they call it.
That's what they call him. A player that all of Connecticut is excited about.
He's skilled. And Monty Mack drills a 3.
basket by Monty Mack.
But Juice is a very skilled player. They're playing that floor, but he has 3 skills: ball handling, shooting skills.
Very good passer as well. He's a 6'10 sophomore, partial qualifier. Practiced with the team last year. 5-second call. Good pressure by Crooks on Al-Amin.
Al-Amin couldn't make up his mind whether he wanted to come off the pick or not, and he wanted to go to his right, and Crooks wouldn't let him get there.
We've seen some good, tough man-to-man defense from UMass early.
Well, UMass, we talked about it, their perimeter play is better because Crooks can do some things for him. He was guarding Al-Amin very well in that corner, causing that 5-second violation.
Tony Robertson, 6'2 freshman from Pawtucket, has checked in for the first time for UConn.
A fresh body with somebody else on Mack.
And there's draws a foul as Robinson fouls him right away. The second unit for UConn is an interesting group. 3 freshmen, including Robinson. Ajo Deng, who's a sophomore who didn't play last year, and Suleiman Wan, who has played for a couple of years, but not a lot of minutes. So by Connecticut standards, it's an inexperienced second unit.
There's no doubt about it. Very inexperienced unit, and that's what they've got to try to get is some experience.
Kirkwood who fouls Deng.
Because this team, Jim said it. Jim Calhoun said they'll be better by February because they've got talent, but the talent has to be put in a situation where they can learn and take advantage of the skills they have.
His first personal foul, the second on the team.
UMass getting it done inside, or UConn rather, getting it done inside for the most part. And UMass on the perimeter. Bosco a little more aggressive in calling for the ball inside. That's something Jim Calhoun's been asking him to do for a couple of years now.
That's the only reason they set him down. And I'm sure you watch, when you sit on the bench, you watch a couple of your teammates get some baskets and you don't get anything. As Khalid just drills a rainbow, you realize your time may be going a little short.
Khalid El-Amin and Albert Amorim have been red hot from three-point range early this season. Mike Babel challenged by both Deng and Bosco. Good aggressive move by Babel, but just too much size inside for the Huskies. Bosco from 12. Bosco again.
Great effort. I think Calhoun's got to be pleased with the effort. He missed a shot. Brooks pulls up.
And Bosco keeps it alive, but right back into the hands of the Minutemen. Great pace and a lot of intensity early in this game.
Well, you know what? This is a rivalry. I mean, sometimes records don't matter when you get these kinds of situations. And UMass wants to get on a good start this year. Beat Iona. Now they want to try to get UConn at home as Reimer gets it inside.
Nice feed from Babel.
Chris, get back, Chris!
There's Robertson. He can play either guard spot.
He can make that. I'm telling you. Juice can make the shot. If you haven't seen him a lot, you don't know how skilled he really is.
They figure he's going to give whoever's guarding him fits. If you're big, he'll go by you. If you're small, he'll go over you. Brooks has it ripped away. Wanted a foul call. 4-on-2 UConn. El-Amin went for the shot. Ajo Deng the putback.
All over the place. That's the good inside play Jim Calhoun thinks he has, and he thinks Juice can give him some lift.
The battle is going to be for minutes in the front court on the Huskies.
In the long run, I think Juice has got to play. He'll play. I mean, he's too talented not to play.
Monty Mack. Rebound, Ajo Deng again. Freeman has Bosco. Freeman spins. Bosco the rebound. UConn has been terrific on the offensive glass.
And that's partially because of effort, but that's partially poor block out on the part of UMass as El-Amin takes it to the baseline.
Khalid El-Amin makes it an 8-point game, but it's the newcomer. Ajo Deng from outside, and then Deng again from inside on the putback. UConn up 8. A big lift off the bench for UConn from 6'10", sophomore Ajo Deng, one of the more interesting players, new players in the country this year. He was born in Sudan. His father was the Minister of Transportation there. When the government was overthrown, the family had to leave. They moved to Egypt when Ajo was 11. That's where he started learning how to play basketball. Then to England, then to the States at St. Thomas More Prep in Connecticut. Committed to UConn as a junior, partial qualifier, practiced last year, speaks 4 languages, and has 15 brothers and sisters. And I don't know if any of those can play, but wow, if it runs in your family, can you imagine family games there?
Yeah, he really hasn't scratched the surface of his skills there. I mean, he can play, but he doesn't know when to do certain things, and that's why they're trying to get him some experience.
Chris Kirkland, the miss. Oates can't jam home the follow, and here's Robertson in a hurry the other way. Off for Freeman, he has it stripped.
This is the kind of game UMass will play if you want to play that.
Monty Mack to the basket.
Nice little hesitation move there. The defense never stopped the basketball, and Mack took it to the hole.
Into the game now for UConn, and with the ball, Doug Wren.
Steal.
Calhoun says he might be the best athlete he has had in this program. That's quite a statement.
Yeah, what he's got to get, though, is discipline. He's already been suspended because he doesn't quite understand how to necessarily follow the rules. But There's a lot of young people that happens. When he gets it, should he get it, he'll be a very good addition for this UConn team.
Suleiman Wan with a soft touch.
Come on.
Ren, by the way, 6'6" freshman from Seattle. And there's a turnover as DePina throws it away.
There is a timeout on the floor.
Bruiser needs some answers. Calhoun appears to have quite a few. UConn 20 and UMass 12 midway through the first half. Quinn, you talked about how Jim Calhoun said he's got so many good interior people and maybe not quite enough on the perimeter right now, but Suleiman Wan, Jake Foskell, Edmund Saunders, Justin Brown, they've all been good already tonight.
No, they've all come in and done things. Saunders is getting the ball inside, and he can be a guy to get effective. See, Brown on the quick moves, he might have held off, but the fact that he can make it, and then Wan, you coming in with 6'8", 6'10", 6'11", that kind of front court can be very, very effective against this UMass team. They're undersized in that department. As you take a look at Jake Foskell, but look at the numbers of what you have here with Saunders. 5.6 rebounds here in the first half.
And a 15-7 rebounding edge for UConn over UMass.
That's why UMass has got to play an up-tempo game. They really can't rebound with UConn at all. And I talked to Booker Flint. That's what he was worried about, the rebounding edge.
What a swat by Monty Mack as Albert Moore tried to penetrate. Changes for UMass. Number 40, Micah Brand, a 6'11" freshman from Middletown, New York, is into the game. Also, Rennell Blizzard has checked in. Brandon Crooks is coming back. And for UConn, Khaled El-Amin and Ajo Deng have returned. And now Kidwana Reimer comes back in. So basically, we got a fresh bunch.
UConn's probably going to do that and keep a different kind of group in there.
You're right. Jim Calhoun may say, well, they're still learning this, and they might be good, but he knows that the raw ability of this group is tremendous. And it's just a question of how quickly they come together.
What they've really got to find is somebody that can create a shot a little bit more like Rip Hamilton did, the All-American now playing for the Washington Wizards.
Wow, there's some creation right there.
Yeah, I think you can get that, but in a tight game, when you get out, as you move further down in the games, the people are going to be too big for Khalid to be able to do that at.
Now, Jim Calhoun talked about the great run of small forwards he has had. From Scotty Burrell, Danielle Marshall, Ray Allen, Richard Hamilton. Right now, this team's best player is its point guard, and Kevin Freeman is the small forward.
The best chance they've got to get it is from Doug Wynn, believe it or not. In the meantime, Ajit Jim, he's got a good chance to be that guy. Because at 6'10", he's hard to guard.
Step out shooter, can pass, he can penetrate. Monty Mack fires again. His second three-pointer of the night. Coming off a stress fracture in his left foot. This is the time before the season began. With 21 points against Iona Saturday, and already 8 here tonight.
One thing, because he's not gunshot.
Wan backing his man down. He traveled.
Actually, Reimer did a good job. Wan was trying to feel for him, and Reimer backed off a little bit. We'll take a look at Monty Mack stealing this shot off. Kept moving, they found him, and he drilled it.
That was a play that UConn specifically worked on at the shooter-out today to try to defend it, to get Mooring around that double screen, but they just couldn't keep up with Mack on that one.
Well, there's got to be somebody to step out. That's what they were really trying to do. They stepped out.
He back into the game 4 now. Smith in the game.
On the top of the ball. Cook is the one they'll try to run for now.
No Mack and no Kirkland on the top 2 scores. Coach draws the foul on El-Amin, who's way ahead of the game.
He did a pretty good job. I don't know if he got it clean. But Brooks does a good job working with the basketball, getting it, putting himself in a position to make a play. It's hard to tell.
His first personal foul, the 6th on the team. Shooting 2 for Massachusetts.
I don't think he liked it.
He is fun to watch, isn't he?
He is. He's fun to watch. Look at this. Brooks in the Iona game at 11.5 rebounds. What he didn't do very well is he was 1 for 5 from the foul line. Not a very good foul shooter. And he's, I believe he's 1 for 3, over 3 now.
He is 1 for 4 from the line tonight, so he's struggling for the second night in a row. UMass in their win over Iona scored 85 points. Just 2 away from the most they scored in any game last season. They are going to side to Larry Kedner, Ajmal Bassett, both of whom are gone. Charlton Clark, a power guard, but not all that quick. They have changed the way they're going to play the game this year.
Well, talking to Bruce, that was part of the problem. They've got some addition by subtraction. They kind of needed to let some people just graduate and move on. But they also had Monty Mack playing out of position. He was handling the basketball when he needs to be free to shoot the ball. And with Charlton Clark gone, they now have that.
Babel comes back in for UMass to guard Freeman, who has checked back in along with Vasco for the Huskies. Whenever you see Freeman, you'll likely see Babel. One of the best defenders around, more so on the perimeter. See if UConn tries to put Freeman down at the post and muscle Babel.
I would be surprised, because I think Jim Calhoun was trying to get Freeman ready to play, period. Freeman goes and gets it down, but he threw it right to Freeman. Oh, they forgot about it.
They left him alone by the basket. Brooks gets by Dane. Now Wisely pulls it back out.
He was going by Bosco. It's like, these trees are too big in here.
What a front line for UConn. So deep as well. DePina will launch a three. They don't see a lot of that.
He's actually shooting guard in the point guard spot. He's not afraid to shoot.
Lamine giving him all the moves.
I'll tell you this. It's going to be interesting to see the transition for Freeman. He is so much more comfortable when he's around the basket than on the perimeter.
Well, and he feels if he learns to play more on the perimeter, it'll help his chances at the next level.
Oh, it will. But in the meantime, they've got to be willing to live with the fact that he's going to struggle.
Vasco a strong rebound. Freeman has even hit a couple of threes already this season, the first two of his UConn career. Mooring just about drained it. Instead, he'll shoot a couple. This guy is going to have an interesting year as well. Albert Mooring is a shooter and a scorer. This year, he's a starter. The departure of both Ricky Moore and Richard Hamilton, and they'll be looking for 15 points a night from him.
Yeah, the difference is when you stretch guys out in minutes, are they able to give you the same kind of production? And I think that's kind of the challenge that Albert's got to deal with. And did he condition himself for those stretch minutes? I'm sure Jim Calhoun talked to him about it, but some guys don't take those things to heart the way they should.
More changes. Mack back in for UMass. And there's Tony Robertson for the Huskies.
Alameen is tired.
Mooring hits them both. And a timeout on the floor with 7:04 to play in the half. Good pace and an early lead for UConn. 7-point lead UConn. Quiet night for Kevin Freeman. 2 points, no rebounds, and the 2 points were on a dunk. Here's his coach on Freeman's transition to the perimeter.
Thinking his way through as opposed to playing his way through. I think when he plays his way through, clearly Kevin's going to be able to do some things because he is very gifted, but he's got to read what he sees in front of him. And as he sees those things more and more from that vantage point, because he hasn't been out there for 4 years since high school, I think it's going to make him into a terrific player this year.
Yeah, I think that the point is a solid point. You've got to, you see it differently. When you're playing with your back to the basket, you just kind of feel things. When you see it, you got to know what to block out and what to focus on, and that's a little bit of the trouble that Kevin Freeman is dealing with. He sees so many things, he doesn't know what to just block out and pay attention to.
He was the most valuable player in the Big East Championship last year as a power forward. And now, as a senior, he'll play small forward. Kirkland gets Ajo Deng in the air, hits, and he'll go to the line.
Deng just kind of gave Kirkland a pass there because he had him in position to not do anything. He'll get the ball right down on the block. And watch, he'll go inside, and all Dean had to do was stay down once he jumped. Kirkland is a good enough offensive player that he knows that once I can get you off your feet, then I've got a chance to draw the contact and get it to go.
Deng is 6'10", but with the wingspan of someone 7'4", so he probably could have blocked the shot, as you say, without ever leaving the ground.
And blocking the shot is not nearly as important, I don't think, as just contesting the shot.
Robertson at the point right now for UConn. Albert Mooring in the backcourt with him. Deng, Vasco, and Freeman up front. Kirkland right out on Ajo Deng, respecting his ability to shoot. Freeman in traffic. Off Deng, and there's a big-time block by Reimer. Robertson to follow.
Oh, they got Mack is open, wide open on the other end.
Now they find him. Oh, Vasco the recovery. DePina inside, and another block, this one by Deng.
and he's on the other end. I mean, Dean had made it to the other end. Robertson ended up losing the ball. But he was asked a great question by Jim Calhoun. Where are you going? See, Dean get that one out, and then he was the first one on the break, and Robertson lost the ball because he had nowhere to go, and he knew it, and just lost control of the ball.
Then starting to get more and more playing time. And remember how quickly Edmund Saunders started tonight, but he picked up a couple of fouls. There's another block, and I think it was Deng again.
It was.
Well, with Deng and Voskuhl in there together, it's going to be tough.
I'll tell you what, Ryman is a good player. Good pickup. They call him Kid. He played in the game against Iona, and in 12 minutes he had 11.7 rebounds. Unfortunately, he fouled out.
They had big-time foul problems in the middle. Michael Brand fouled out as well, and Oates picked up a couple in just 6 minutes of play. Their centers used 12 fouls. Mack a shooter from anywhere.
And when he gets in trouble, he just backs up.
And he whooped a little bit to the UConn bench on his way back down. Mooring tries to answer, and another good rebound by Ryman.
Good strong rebound.
Mack gets around Robertson. UMass not backing down at all. And with Monty Mack, you take the bad with the good. Now the shot clock reset, and it shouldn't have, because that ball clearly didn't hit the rim.
It didn't hit the rim, and it was a nice little break in terms of what UMass needed, because they needed to calm down.
Now there's more basketball coming on ESPN. It's the NIT semifinals. How about Matt Doherty and the Irish? They're going to take on Arizona in game one, and then Maryland and Kentucky in the first of 2 meetings they'll have this year. They'll meet again in Maryland in December, and then the championship from Maui at 10:30. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. Purdue a winner in an hour today, and Florida escaped Utah State by just 2 points.
Florida's got talent. They're inexperienced. But you look at that game, you got Notre Dame and Arizona. You got an outstanding player in Troy Murphy on that Notre Dame club. In Arizona, Lute Olson's put together great teams for years there.
Robertson. Just a freshman, a top 25 recruit. He can play at point if Elamine's on the bench. He can play alongside Elamine as he is right now.
And they give him the task also of guarding Monty Mack so that Khalid Elamine doesn't get fouled. So you can guide him where he can guard people and make baskets. He'll be a big asset for the Huskies.
Suleiman Awad back in for UConn, and Micah Brand for UMass. Here's Mack again. A little bit out of control, but it will go his way. Monty Mack has already taken 7 3-pointers in this game.
I told you, he's not gun shy.
He makes just enough of them to stay on the floor. I mean, he won't shoot a great percentage, but he scored 18 points per game. And a Bruiser, he's looking for some scores this year. They want to run it up and down a little bit more.
Well, that's why having Shannon Crooks on the team may help him, because Crooks is a guy who can score. Where they're struggling is getting somebody on the interior that can score.
Robertson to the bench after taking the worst of that collision with Mack. Doug Wren has returned for the Huskies. Big time numbers for Monty Mack, a first-team All-Atlantic 10 preseason pick this year. UMass generally picked second in the A-10 East behind Temple. Temple expected to have one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, they'll have a solid team. They've got, in Pepe Sanchez, they've got a guy that can really handle the basketball. Parker will be solid for him. Blizzard blocks that shot, but if you've got good guard play, you got a chance. And Sanchez gives them that.
We are seeing some very acrobatic and athletic blocks from both teams. Ajo Deng and Jake Voskuhl at one end. And here's Rennell Blizzard denying Albert Mooring at the other. UMass is hanging in. A very nice performance by UMass to hang in here on the road against the defending national champions. They won it all last year, but UConn getting a battle from UMass here tonight. They lead by 4. After this game tonight here on ESPN2, a special night for Wayne Gretzky and a special night for all hockey fans. The 1999 Hall of Fame induction ceremony from the Hall of Fame in Toronto. That's at 9 Eastern tonight here on ESPN2. They waived the waiting period for the great one, and why not?
They should. This guy was an unbelievable player. I remember one time I looked at the cover of Time magazine, and one time they had Larry Bird and Wayne Gretzky. These two guys were controlling the sport, and if you can appreciate the hockey game, it was pretty much like Larry was managing the game.
Right.
This was Wayne with the stick. It was awesome.
And as good an ambassador for the sport as he was a player. El-Amin
Making tough shots.
making tough shots look easy.
They all look easy when they go in, man.
His role now as a junior, with Richard Hamilton gone, it has changed some. He's got other guys who can help him, but he's taking on more of a scoring role here early this season.
You know, but that's his mentality. And I looked in the 2 seasons he's been, as good a point guard he is, and he's one of the top playmakers in the college. He only has 1 10-assist game, double-digit assist game, since he's been in college, and that's unusual. So that means that he's more of a scoring guard that just has some ability to run. He has ability to run a team.
DePina fouls Doug Wren. Early on, UConn dominated Massachusetts on the glass and looked like they might stretch out to a pretty good lead. But UMass hits some threes. Monty Mack already has 3 threes and 13 points. And the Minutemen are down only 6. El-Amin with a big start. Edmund Saunders was playing some fabulous basketball until he got into foul trouble. Kitwana Reimer for UMass has 9 rebounds.
He's got 9. They've got 13. He's got 9 of them.
Bruiser Flint feels that this group that he has, more attentive, more of a unit. That last year there may have been some problems. Not everybody, putting the oars in the water at the same time, but he doesn't feel he's got any problems like that this year. Trying to get a mooring free for a look. Here's Freeman where he's at his best. Juan the follow. Juan again. El-Amin. What a battle under the glass.
They call that on Babel. Suleiman, I thought, came over to get it. Yeah, they did. I mean, this is the hustle that's going on inside. El-Amin takes the long shot. And it looked like, yeah, and then Babel goes back. He goes back to get it, and they call him for the foul.
First on Babel. One again, left hand. Nothing dropping. Finally, Suleiman won, and he deserved that one.
They had 5 attempts.
That's one of the big stories of the half. UConn's offensive rebounding.
Yeah, that would have to be what Bruiser Flint will talk his team about. Blocking out, making sure you go to your man to make contact. Reimer will go get the glass.
Mack finds Kirkland. Mooring skies, but tips it right back to Kirkland, and a foul. Doug Wren bumping into him.
Flint was really upset because his group wasn't getting after him. I mean, he was stomping his feet trying to get their attention.
Coming up on halftime, more on college basketball. Digger Phelps with his thoughts on the Duke Blue Devils. Highlights from Maui. We told you that Florida game went right down to the wire. And then news on the Dolphins and the Cowboys getting set for a Thanksgiving Day game.
Cowboys really struggling. Lost a tough one yesterday to the Cardinals. They've got to try to figure it out.
Spoken like a true Dallas resident, huh?
I've been able to watch it a little bit. They played well for a while. Just can't keep it going.
4 Huskies in the paint, on the glass. Freeman twice.
That's got to be Suleiman.
Yeah, and over the back they go. They have been aggressive at times to a fault, but they have dominated the offensive glass.
Well, I think you got to make the effort, and that's what they've been doing. Tough shot taken by Suleiman. Now watch it to come back. And now he'll just crash in here as that shot is missed by Freeman. No doubt he was over the back.
Number 2 on Juan. At the other end, Reimer will shoot, and it looks like Juan will come out, and Jake Voskuhl is getting set to check back in. A spirited first half of play. UMass's first ever appearance in this building, which opened in 1990. UMass not doing themselves any favors at the line tonight.
You know what? That was their Achilles heel last year. Shot the ball just under 60% last year, and you can see that problem continues. And when you're a team that doesn't score a lot of points, it really hurts you if you can't get the easy ones, i.e. the free throw.
Reimer 1 of 2. The Minutemen now 5 of 11 from the line tonight. Jode back in there along with Voskuhl and Freeman up front. Freeman has been quiet. Give credit to Babel. He is known for shutting down just about everybody he covers. He did a great job on Richard Hamilton the last couple of years, and he's done a good job on Freeman here tonight. Elamine has taken the game into his own hands at times.
They just called a technical right there on Albert Mooring, I believe, as well. Did he give it to Jim Calhoun? They just called a technical foul.
We have a foul at one end.
Calamine, he'll get his free throws because he got foul going, and I think they called it on the floor.
And then back down to the other end. I think you're right. Back down to the other end.
Yeah, it was Coach Calhoun.
Yep.
And what he's telling Jake Voskuhl is to don't say anymore. And Jake is kind of having fun.
See if we can get another look at the foul and then the ensuing technical. See if we can find out what caused it.
But what happened is, all right, but Connecticut gets the foul. But the official on the side, he'll come from the right side of the screen. Yeah, he was going right at him from the right side of the screen. He was pointing there, so he had to have pretty good ears to know what's coming from that
place. You're right.
From that far. But that's usually accumulation. Coach or somebody's been getting on the official for some period of time, and they let it go, and then they finally say, all right, that's enough.
So the end result of the free throws is UMass picks up a point as Mack gets them both, and UMass gets the ball. He did hear something because he was walking the other way, and then all of a sudden turned to Calhoun.
Oh, no doubt. He heard something. That is good.
Monty Mack with 15 of UMass's 29 points. 9 minutes to play first half. There he is again. Mooring right out on him. Crooks baseline. Right into Voskuhl. Crooks gets it back. Blocked again.
Oh, that's goaltending.
And John Cal makes the call.
Yeah, that's good officiating there. There's no doubt about it. Juice was standing under the basket. This, I think, is an ill-advised shot, but he's good enough, Crooks, to get it and go back with it. And you see Voskuhl get a piece of that one, and then Reimer gets it. And Juice clearly coming down, but that's part of the inexperience, showing you the skill without the experience to understand that when you let go.
Timeout taken with 43.5 seconds to play. Massachusetts is back within 4 of Connecticut. Well, be sure and start your Thanksgiving morning off with a little college basketball. This is tournament week, and there is college basketball from all over the place. Quinn's going to be down in Puerto Rico to see Providence take on the number 2 team in the country, Michigan State. That'll be at 11 in the morning Eastern time on Thursday, and then at midnight, Len Elmore and I will be up in Anchorage for the first game you'll see from the Great Alaska Shootout. Number 11 of Kansas, led by Eric Chenoweth, Kenny Gregory, and an outstanding freshman class taking on Jim Herrick's Georgia Bulldogs, midnight Eastern. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com.
You know, Kansas may be a team that, if they can sneak up on you, this would be the year, because nobody's talking about them. They're pretty good. They got the young man Luke Axtell that transferred from Texas, who's a pretty good perimeter shooter at about 6'8", too.
They are very deep. 10 or 11 deep, Roy Williams going to go. Elamine won't stay down. Voskuhl, strong move.
Very strong move. Reimer tried to take a shot. Voskuhl stayed under control.
Final possession of the half to UMass. Maybe not. They get it back. Monty Mack. And that'll be all in an eventful and intense first half, dominated by Connecticut's ability to get on the offensive glass and to convert. Look at the difference in the second chance points. But it's a pretty close game. Connecticut 37, Massachusetts 31 at the end of the first half. ESPN News is coming up following these messages. Back in stores, Stan Schulman, Quinn Buckner with you. An entertaining first half of basketball sees the UConn Huskies leading by 6. And the #1 story, without any doubt, in the first half was Connecticut's incredible ability to get on the glass and convert.
They just stayed active on the glass. Is what they really like to do. You'll get a chance here. Looks like UMass has it. Nope, Saunders gets that one. And then you get another one, and then Juice gets one. He puts it back in. Come up with another one. The ball goes up. Watch Suleiman go in and get it. He had 4 of his 5 offensive rebounds. And then all of a sudden, Jake Bosco just gets him some nice inside play off an offensive rebound. He knocks it down. They had 15 offensive rebounds to Massachusetts total, 18 rebounds total. That's what really caused the 17-2 second chance point situation.
By far the biggest story, Ajo Deng with 4 of the 5 UConn blocks. Monty Mack of UMass, the high scorer in the game with 15 points. He didn't start the game, but he will start the second half. Reimer with rebound number 11, but he can't put it back.
Because he's trying to shoot it over those big trees. By the end of the game, the tough part for Reimer is he'll be tired because his legs will just be worn out.
Edmund Saunders back in. He had 2 quick fouls in the first half, but in 5 minutes of play had 5 points and 6 rebounds. There's another offensive rebound and a put back. This one for Albert Amoring. Mike Babel can't get it to go again. Voskuhl, kind of the goalie at the end of the defense there.
Yeah, but the second half starts just like the first half. Offensive rebound.
Monty Mack with a big first half. Khalid El-Amin, a more balanced UConn attack, which saw 7 players come up with at least 1 offensive rebound and 9 players score.
But you know what? UConn still got to find another score. Khalid El-Amin, by the end of the year, he'll be worn out if he's got to try to score at this kind of pace all the time.
Who do you think is the best choice for option number 2?
Well, that's really, actually, the best choice might be Doug Wynn, who sits on the bench, but he's the guy that has to mature. So I don't know if he's ready for that yet. But Khalid El-Amin's ability to get to the basket and score will really help them. But I just think that's just too much effort for a guy because of his overall size.
Nice spin move and the jam by Chris Kirkland, who had a quiet first half with just 2 points.
But, you know, we were talking about at the top of the show, Kevin Freeman has to figure out how to inject his offensive game in here. I'm not sure he's going to be a face-up player.
As a power forward, he was good for 12, 13 points tonight. He's only got 2 points tonight, and that was on a dunk where he was just left alone near the basket.
Then be what Jim Calhoun says he is. Be a power 3 and post up your 3-man, because if a 4 has a tough time guarding you, a 3 will have the same problem on the block.
The other thing we should point out is that Freeman tonight, as a 3, is playing one of the best defensive small forwards in the country in Mike Babel. This is what Babel has done to some very, very good players, what they've done against him and what they averaged that season.
Babel, that's all he does is defend. So that's where his concentration is. But you see, he's superb at shutting down scores, principally by not letting them get the ball. The guy can't score if he doesn't have the ball.
Babel doesn't have a point, doesn't have a rebound in this game, but he's doing his job. El-Amin, good look ahead for Moring.
Bad decision by Moring.
Monty Mack's got some friends behind him. He'll elect to pull up. And he had help on either side of him. May not have known they were there.
Dan, it's his job to know. That's your job to know. You got big guys running the floor. You got to give them an opportunity.
You know who's making a bit of a statement here tonight in limited minutes? There's Voskuhl with a great steal. Is Edmund Saunders.
Yeah, he has. He's been very active.
Wide open Moring. Freeman the follow, and Reimer brings it down. UConn relentless tonight. What a steal by El-Amin.
Great anticipation.
4 on 2. Blocked by Reimer.
Tough decision that time made on the pass by Khalid El-Amin, because if Reimer's on your left, you may want to give it to the guy on the right. But El-Amin does a good job getting the ball, pushing it up, forcing the tempo of the game, as UConn likes to do. goes to his left, and you see Reimer gets there in time to keep Mooring from putting it down.
Substitution number 1, John.
Only Mateen Cleaves received more preseason votes for the Naismith Award as the country's best player than Khalid El-Amin. The top 3 were all point guards: Cleaves, El-Amin, and then Scooney Penn. And Cleaves, of course, is out for several more weeks with a foot injury.
Cleaves, a very, very good leader, tough defensive player. Scooney Penn was a tough player who played at Boston College and then decided to transfer with Jim O'Brien, went to Ohio State.
The knock on El-Amin at times is that he can turn it on and turn it off. He'll take over a game for 6 or 8 minutes, and then it's almost like somebody flicks a switch.
Well, I'm not sure that's fair, because he's played for the last 2 years with one of the top players in the NBA now. So there's a reason that he can turn it on and off, because there's a foul there. Because you can't keep your game going, because you know you better get Rip Hamilton the ball. If you're a point guard, you better find Rip, because he'll get in the basket. He'll rip the cords for you.
Babel, another steal. There is a certain intangible in El-Amin that very few players in the country have. His personality, his leadership skills, his enthusiasm for the game.
His energy, the enthusiasm energy part, there's no question about that. Great step up by Vosco.
And now good help by Vosco with Saunders. Reimer working hard. Another block for Vosco. Reimer again misses the jam. There's Freeman handling it, 6-7.
Good read that time. Smart play. No need to try to make something that's not there. It's not his job.
Lean guarded by DePina. Saunders from 10.
You're right. He's quiet and played a solid game.
He came in with all kinds of hype out of Waterbury, Connecticut. This is his junior year. Sat out his freshman year for academic reasons. Didn't start last year because Freeman was the power forward and Hamilton was the small forward. But Saunders has 9 points and 8 rebounds tonight.
Pretty solid that time. I think they may have called him for that foul. Saunders has been everything they need, because that takes, and I was talking to Jake Vosco before the game, it takes a lot of pressure off of him having these other solid front court players, but nobody's been more solid than Saunders here in this contest.
It is on Saunders, and it's his third, only foul trouble, keeping him from putting up some very impressive numbers tonight. We know what UMass will be working on after practice tomorrow.
You know, sometimes that's not a function of not working on it. I mean, and I watched them yesterday in practice. They work on it. There's just some guys who emotionally just don't want to. They won't be allowed to be good foul shooters, and that's principally because they've experienced more misses than they have makes.
UConn has 6 players on the floor right now. They had 3 come in, only 2 go out, and Edmund Saunders was taking his position when Dave Lato said, "Now you're playing well, but when we say come out, we mean come out."
Yeah, he got that new math going too. 3 for 2.
1 of 2 for Kirkland. And we will step aside 4 minutes into the second half. Saunders having quite a night when he stays on the floor. UConn up by 11.
Welcome back to Gamble Pavilion, where UMass is down to Connecticut 45-34. The reason UConn is up, they can go to their point guard who can create some shots. Khalid El-Amin can go right and make plays. He shoots a little floater that you can't get to. He can take you into the paint, make you think about it, shoot a little jumper over the top, and he can get to the rack right here with another little floater. Has 12 points, has made it all kinds of ways. And you can take a look at his numbers. Only 2 other players other than Khalid El-Amin have scored over 1,000 points in their first 2 seasons. Richard Hamilton and Ray Allen, both terrific players at the next level.
His abilities come in an unusual package at a 5'10", 200 pounds. And Richard Hamilton, obviously, not forgotten here at Stores. But
and those other 2 guys are 6'5", 6'6", and really good athletes. But Khalid doesn't look like an athlete, but because his body makeup. But he is a scorer with great ability to get into cracks and crevices.
Swinging on a line. Jump hook. Well, we have seen some things from one that we didn't see when it was coming.
Oh, he was excited about that one.
DePina pestered by Mooring. Here's Blizzard. And a goaltend.
I mean, first of all, it was Juice that was out there guarding him, and Juan thought he had him a block. I mean, that'll make it tough when you 6'11" guarding at the top and 6'10" on the protect. Get around your man. Oh, not easy.
You know, Jim Calhoun told us before the game the one thing he was most pleased about in the win over Vermont on Friday was he told the team play with energy, and they did, and they're doing it again here tonight.
Because it can be hard as a defending champion to play that way. Now, they got caught by Iowa not coming prepared to play, and Jim Calhoun wanted to make sure his team learned the lesson. You got to bring it every night.
Rebound for Babel. It looks like it's contagious tonight, especially with the big men.
Big men have been very aggressive to the board.
6-point lead at the half is up to 11 right now. Mack misses, won the rebound. Monty Mack yet to score here in the second half. Elamine pull up three. The Juan go after it. Look at Ajo Dang to save it, but into the hands of the Minutemen. Depina's quick. And Blizzard's shot won't go down. Reimer's in there, blocked and knocked away by Juan.
What we're starting to see now is UMass is tired. Because they can't get to the peak jump to get it off. And because of all the fresh bodies in the front court, UConn can make plays.
It's not Voskuhl and Saunders. It's Deng and Juan off the bench. Depina for three. Right now, our stats monitor credits Connecticut with 7 blocks, but it sure seems like they've had more than that.
They had 4, but they had 5 at halftime, I believe, because Juice had 4.
Spinning Alamine. And a foul from behind.
So it's hard to keep Alamine from getting where he wants to go. And when you look at players, you look at how they do at their position. Can they dominate their position? There is not much question in this contest for sure. And obviously the reason they're national champions is Alamine can dominate that position. Depina having a tough time guarding. Reimer come over for the help. And then all of a sudden Juan gets fouled on the backside by Babel.
Watching him practice is as much fun as watching most other players play, because he's got just as much energy and enthusiasm in a game day shoot-around as he does here during the game.
Partially because Jim Calhoun won't let this team not have, but I think there is an innate energy about Alamine, the way he goes about things.
Senior Jake Voskuhl back in. Jim Calhoun tells a story about the first time Alamine came and scrimmaged with his then future teammates, and right away, even though he wasn't even in college yet, he was telling guys, you go here, I'll get you the ball here. He was taking charge right away. It's just his personality.
It's his personality. You know, the other thing, Dan, I'm not sure. So basketball hadn't changed that much. So getting people in position is not that hard if you know where they're most effective. What you admire is somebody willing to take the risk of telling someone else where to go when you know that most guys are looking for someone to follow, and that happens to be an incoming freshman.
Freeman and Robertson return for UConn. Michael Brand into the game for UMass. Voskuhl calling for it. Brand on his back. Tipped a couple of times. Voskuhl again. And finally Depina. Nice ball fake, and he'll shoot a couple.
The only way they're going to get it is they can push it back, because they can't make. They're having a tough time making shots, UMass, because they don't have energy. Depina tried to fake to get the ball to go away, and then they called it on Tony Robertson, because Robertson knew that there was not much chance that ball was going to be passed. You can tell when the players setting up for the pass, and it didn't look very much like that.
It feels like UConn is blowing UMass out. But they've only added 4 points to their lead since the half. They're up 10. They're shooting only 28%.
UConn prides itself on trying to make sure that the opposition doesn't shoot better than they're doing what they need to do. But the difference is, Bruiser Flint's club is taking jump shots, and the shots they're taking inside, they're getting blocked.
UMass UMass not doing themselves any favors at the line either. 1 of 2 for DePina to make it a 9-point game. Marcus Cox into the game for UConn, a 6'4" freshman from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Will play either guard spot or as number 50. And for UMass for the first time, number 4, Jovan Johnson, 6'3" junior from Wabash Valley Junior College in Illinois.
I watched an interesting thing. I was listening to you, but I looked up at Jim Calhoun as Kevin Freeman dribbled that ball off his foot. Some coaches get mad. Jim Calhoun sees that Kevin Freeman, who just talked about needs to step up, is struggling. He just patted him on the rear end just to try to encourage him to keep going. Because Freeman is really struggling, trying to figure out what kind of player he is.
Johnson off the screen, gets away from Cox, who can't get a shot up. 6 on the shot clock. Juan has it. Here's Freeman. Got in the air before he made the pass, and a travel on Juan.
That's how bad he's struggling. He jumped in the air with absolutely no idea where he was going. And Jim Calhoun is telling him to take it to the basket. And he looked to take him out of the game, but he didn't take him out because Freeman he's almost paralysis by analysis. Watch, he jumps. He has nowhere to go. I mean, you feel for somebody in that situation.
It's such a difficult situation because he's such a good college power forward, but he's moving to the perimeter more to try and enhance his chances at the pro level. But is he hurting himself and the team in the process? And again, we don't want to make too broad a judgment on one night.
No, I think what they're trying to do is just to help make him a better player and make their team better because they know they need somebody on the floor to be able to make plays. And Jim is just telling them, think.
9-point lead for UConn. Battle of the mascots in addition to the MassMutual U game between UMass and UConn. Connecticut leading by 9. More basketball later tonight on both ESPN and ESPN2. It begins over on ESPN. Brendan Haywood and Coda and the 6th-ranked Tar Heels are out in Hawaii to take on USC. It's at 9 Eastern over on ESPN, then at 11:30 Eastern here on ESPN2. Kevin Braswell, Anthony Perry, and the optimistic Georgetown Hoyas are going to take on Memphis. Hoyas feel they're going to make a move in the Big East this year. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, Go.com, all part of Tournament Week on ESPN and ESPN2.
Craig Esrick at Georgetown has done a good job. And you look and see all the things. He's with John Thompson for almost 19 years. And he knows what the guys are like, what the system is like. He's got a system in place, and he's got some players that now have a better feel what the coach is like. So, and you're right, they expect to make a move.
Suleiman Awan with another good offensive move. He's got 10 points.
He's showing us a lot more confidence in his post play on both ends.
Jim Calhoun wasn't kidding when he told us before the game he thought the strength of the club was in the front court.
It's not even close.
And UMass is going to throw it back into the backcourt for another turnover. The big men of UConn have dominated on the glass, and they've done an outstanding job converting on all those offensive rebounds. Monty Mack has 15 points, but all of them in the first half. Colin Elamine has had a good game, but it's been front court by committee. Ajo Dang, Edmund Saunders, Jake Voskuhl. They have all had a hand in UConn's success.
Well, I think UMass is better than they were last year. They're overmanned. They're overmatched, obviously, in the front court. There's just no way they can match this stuff. He got fouled. I know what it's exactly what he's saying. He got fouled and he started to go up to Khalid and then dropped the ball and was going to play again. He gets a chance, try to go to the basket. Yeah, he thought he got fouled. Thought he got hit on the elbow.
See if Mack can get on track.
You know, part of the reason he can't get up on track, he's been pretty well guarded. I mean, he's made a couple shots early, and I'm sure at halftime they decided, let's move it out for Garden.
Well, we've talked a lot about how UConn goes about trying to replace the offense of Richard Hamilton. Almost as important is how do they go about trying to replace the defense of Ricky Moore, who was such a valuable player for them last year. And Albert Amoring being asked, in a sense, to step up offensively in the absence of Hamilton and to step up defensively in the absence of Moore.
Well, that's all part of the process. If you're going to be a good team, somebody's got to step up and make it happen. Mooring at this point is the one that's able to do it. I still think they'll end up Freeman will just be a power 3. That's okay. But then they may want to play Juice at the 4, because if you play Juice at the 4, he gives you some perimeter shooting that Freeman is not able to give right now.
They can become interchangeable in a sense.
Yeah.
Monty Mack with a jumper at the other end, so he's got 17. Suleiman Awan draws the foul. Ajo Deng trying to force his way into the lineup. Jake Voskuil's going to get his minutes. Edmund Saunders and Suleiman Awan tonight saying, hey, don't forget about me. Juan's got a career-high 10 points tonight.
Oh, they're playing high-low. Oh, my goodness. Juan made the pass, and there was no doubt about it. They were playing high-low. As soon as Juan got it, inside, Saunders had the position and was looking just to get the pass, and he gets it and tries to make a play. Juan to get it at the top of the key. Right there, you see Saunders in the center. He gets it. Kirkland can't do anything but to come over and try to keep that one from going, but there's just no chance.
Saunders playing with a lot of emotion tonight. It started early. He had a putback, drew the foul, hit the free throw, then another offensive rebound and putback in the first couple of minutes of the game. He was feeling good early. Only foul trouble sent him to the bench in the first half.
Dan, with mid people, what backcourt players have to understand, when they get a couple of baskets, they get themselves emotionally involved, because they've been so, they've usually been big most of their life, and most of them are not ball handlers. They basically don't get to play with it. So if they play with the ball a little bit, get a basket, now they feel like they're involved in the game.
10th point for Saunders. 3 Huskies in double figures. Juan, Elamine, and Saunders. And Saunders working hard defensively on Kirkland. There's Mack. Mooring chasing him all over the floor, and Mack still gets free and buries a tough tray.
Very, very difficult shot.
20 points for Monty Mack. Mooring thinks about answering, slips, and Mack steals it, and a foul by Mooring.
Yeah, he fouled him. I thought Mack actually made the initial contact, but he was able to be aggressive on that defensive play. But when Mack stays squared at the basket and is aggressive on the offensive end, he can be a factor. He has the ability to set you up. They run that screen for him. You get it. You see he faces up, and Mooring just can't get there in time. And then defensively, watch, he comes hard at the ball, and then the arms lock, and at that point, Mooring can't do anything but just grab it.
Tom Moore, one of the assistants for UConn, emphasized in the shoot-around today, Monty Mack comes off the screens at about 100 miles an hour. You've got to keep an eye on it. It's amazing how quickly Mack goes from stop to full speed and then stops and sets his feet to get the shot up.
Hey, Dan, you got the green light. You can do that. And he's got the light as Jonathan DePina just knocks down the 3.
And how about UMass?
They won't quit. There's no quit in the Minutemen, that's for sure.
Getting it done entirely from the perimeter with Monty Mack and Jonathan DePina. DePina's got 10 and is 3 of 3 from three-point range.
DePina is the one who was he was actually going to Boston College and changed his mind, but here he drills this 3 with pressure. But I told you, he's got a scorer's mentality. He happens to be short, but that doesn't mean you can't put the ball in the basket. And here, from the land of 3, DePina knocks it down.
UMass has 7 3-pointers tonight, 4 by Mack, 3 by DePina, and they're on an 8-1 run to get it back within 4, which is as close as they've been at any point here in the second half. Connecticut's got just 1 3-pointer on the night. That's by Elamine. Mack's been hot most of the game. Shannon Crooks was very important in the first half. DePina's getting more of the playing time here in the second half.
Because they think that DePina has a better chance to being able to guard Elamine, and he's also a little more familiar with they can't get to him.
They just can't stop UConn's big men. Another 2 for Juan. 3-pointer from outside for the lefty, Ronell Blizzard.
Excuse me, game time.
Blizzard and Saunders really going at one another, and they did that in high school as well. Both of them from Waterbury, Connecticut. Saunders went to Holy Cross, and Blizzard to Sacred Heart. They're having a pretty good battle inside. Mooring, no. Tipped by Juan. Mooring, yes.
You can't let a shooter get a second shot. They rarely miss 2 in a row.
Saunders.
And a good decision by Saunders, too. He threw it back to Morin. He just threw the ball to Alamine. But they're going to have Alamine probably come off picks because he's scoring so well.
One, feeling it. Turnaround jumper.
Oh, I thought he got fouled. I mean, you're right. He felt it.
I'm not sure he has ever played a game with as much confidence in the offensive end here at UConn as he is tonight.
There's no doubt he's playing with tremendous confidence. I mean, he'll get the ball in the post and watch. He'll just turn. But I think you can do that when you think you have height advantage. And he feels pretty comfortable about that. You can see the foul on the arm.
Big night for Suleiman Awan, already a career high in points. That's number 13. Brooks back into the game now for UMass. Magnus is in. And Vasco is going to check into the next opportunity for UConn.
Well, they probably give Suleiman Awan out of the game. I mean, he needs a breather because he's not quite used to going this good.
Hits them both. 14 points for Juan to lead the Huskies. Connecticut back out to an 8-point lead on UMass. The Huskies trying to go to 3-1 on the season. 7:42 to play second half. Following this game here on ESPN2, it's going to be a very special night for perhaps the greatest hockey player of all time, Wayne Gretzky. Will be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and you will see the ceremony tonight here on ESPN2 at 9 Eastern following this basketball game. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Part of the Go Network, go.com. Quite an atmosphere here at Gamble. And quite a rivalry between UConn and UMass. They compete on the court, which is nice to see. They compete for recruits a lot as well. Kevin Freeman was among those interested in both schools, and both schools with an interest in him.
And I think that's what makes the rivalry that much more interesting. You know, you're trying to decide which school I want to go to. At this point, over the last 4 years or 3 years, UConn has won all 3 contests, so you might get people more interested at this point to go there. But it may depend today a little bit more to young people is how much you get to play.
There's a good strong move by Freeman as he'll head to the line. He still has just the 2 points tonight on the dunk in the first half.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, they're really trying to instill confidence. Because I watched Jim Council after the play, and he just really encouraged him. Because this whole play was run to give Kevin Freeman a chance to get the ball to the bucket so he can be effective. Just so he can get his confidence, because he's lost some confidence in his game.
This is the first. So the Folgers storyline, some good outside shooting, some great outside shooting by UMass, led by Monty Mack, who's got 20 points on the game, but Connecticut overpowering inside. Suleiman Awan having a big night. Edmund Saunders, Jake Bosco, Ajo Deng, they are sharing the load equally.
They call this on Bosco. He did everything, but it looked like it might have been Reimer put it in the basket. He pushed it so far. You see on the left side, he's pushed his Blizzard. Look at it. He's got Blizzard. And then, he just kept moving him.
Just a second on Vasco. Here's Blizzard again. A 3-pointer earlier. Good rebound by Vasco. UConn leads the all-time series 63-38. They first met in 1905. They've committed to one another for each of the next 4 years. And here's Saunders and Blizzard again. High school rivals from Waterbury, Connecticut, renewing acquaintances.
And I think a little bit of Blizzard trying to make sure that Saunders understands he's going to be here. He doesn't have to be that aggressive with it. It's more mouthing off, but he gets on him pretty tight right there. Oh, he swung pretty hard at him with the ball. And I can reasonably understand not backing up, not getting into a fight, but you don't want to, you can't get yourself in that position. because he swung that ball at him pretty hard. I think this is actually a pretty good substitution.
Lizard gets booed as he comes out of the game.
So that's the thing to do, because one of them needs to come out of the game. But what Bruiser Flynn is telling me, there's no need to foul somebody 25 feet from the basket.
Fourth foul on Blizzard.
I mean, they'll play on the perimeter. Now watch, he takes and swipes that ball, knocks the hand out. And once the foul is called, the official could have called an unsportsman-like foul against Saunders for the way he reacted to it.
1 of 2 for Saunders. 11 points, 9 rebounds on the night. 9-point lead, 6.5 to play. Brooks throws it over the head of Kirkland.
That's because the guy was so big where Crooks was trying to throw it. He had to throw it back a little bit, and he threw it out of the hands of Kirkland. Threw it away from the hands.
Bruiser, the old point guard, is going to make a change. Crooks will come out, Depina back in. Really hasn't shown any signs of fatigue at all tonight. He's played a pretty healthy dose of minutes.
Well, he's played, but they let a lot of people handle the ball in this thing. Freeman's got it now. Morin can handle it if he needs to handle it, but Alameda will be the one to take the shot if they need a shot.
Freeman faces up on a Babel, gets into the paint.
See, that's where he wants to go, and I think they've got to just understand that's just where he is.
Look out, Jake.
A little balancing act by Vasco. Freeman to take the shot, and it ends up going long. And then Vasco takes a little run at it. Tries to take a computer with him.
He surfs, doesn't he?
He's definitely surfing. Must have caught a piece of paper or something.
Pretty good balance.
You know they surfed in Houston, which is where he's from.
All right, he looks like a surfer.
He does have that surfer look now.
Here's Morin bringing it up. Saunders, Elamine, Freeman, and Vasco.
Morin brings it up. That means they will turn Alamine and lose the catch it ball. That's the best place for him to get it is with a dribble.
There he goes. Draws the foul.
Yeah, that's why they get it. It's always better to catch it with a dribble, because now the defender doesn't know what you're going to do. If you're already dribbling, you're limited in some of the things you can do.
Massachusetts foul number 1, Jonathan Depina.
Now he'll come quick. He'll get the dribble, and he'll go to his right. Got away maybe with a little bit of a travel, but because he exploded so fast, when the defense tried to recover, if you pull up, more often than not, they'll put it to the back of him.
All kinds of speculation because at the end of this season, Elamine's junior season, he may opt to turn pro. And UConn has already recruited a very highly thought of point guard, Talika Brown, for next year.
Well, they got Karen Butler from Racine, Wisconsin. They've got a pretty good recruiting class coming in.
Scott Hazelton, a 6'8" forward as well. On top of the 3 freshmen, Ren, Robertson, and Cox this year, not to mention Deng, who's a sophomore.
Start looking at them like all the other top programs, and there's no doubt that Jim Calhoun has put together 5 30-win seasons as part of the top program. They don't rebuild, they reload.
Babel inside. His first points of the night. An ability to recruit nationally, and a few other programs can.
I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. They've got 4 30-win seasons. It's Mike Krzyzewski of Duke that has 5 30-plus win seasons.
Nice beat in by Saunders. What a big night.
How about this? Alamine is playing defense 1-on-3 and steals it.
Keeps that dribble alive a long time. Finds Freeman.
That's the shot he's got to shoot. I'm sorry, Dave.
It looked like he just didn't want it.
He didn't even look at the basket. He didn't look where his defender was, didn't look at the basket. That's the one he's got to look for.
Shot clock running down. That means it's Elamine time.
When you got it going, you got it go.
He lost it. He got it back, and he hit the shot. second half as UConn stretches its lead to 13 points.
Alameen knows that the shot clock is coming down. He wants to get back to the left. He goes in. The ball gets tapped. He just pushes it to the basket with 2 seconds on the shot clock. Gets it to go down. Kind of wipes his hand off a little bit. He knows he's a little warm at the moment.
He has an incredible knack at the end of games or even during games as the shot clock winds down to want the big shot and to hit the big shot. He's not afraid of being in the spotlight. The opposite, in fact.
Well, one of the reasons he's not afraid, see, he can get the shot. He can get himself some clearance to get the shot off. And he's only taken 15 shots, which is good from that position. But most good players know they can get a shot off, and that's what he knows.
Tony Robertson into the game for Alameen under 4 minutes to play and a double-digit lead for the Huskies. Back off the screen.
Off the screen, and Bosco came and got it.
And Reimer puts it back in, 66-55. UConn can afford to be a little more patient now. 3.5 to play.
This is Jim Calhoun teaching some young players how to close a game. Alameen was a little tired, but that's why Robertson is in the game. Because there are enough veterans out there that won't let him try to make anything happen real crazy.
Bosco looking for Saunders. 2 more. Breakout nights for Edmund Saunders and Sylvan Anwan.
Oh, big time breakout nights.
And had we seen more of Ajodin, we could have said the same about him the way he was playing.
They're trying to call that intentional foul. It was intentional, no doubt about it, on the fast break. Got the inside-outside play here, high-low. As Saunders goes up and get it, Kirkland fronts him, and it's pretty hard to do. Jake obviously pleased with his own play and should have been maligned quite a bit. I mean, I think he does a nice job inside for UConn, but Jake Bosco has taken a lot of hits for his ability or inability to do things. And I think about most players, everybody has some deficiency, but he takes up space. He's pretty active inside. They just like to see him be a more effective scorer. I don't think that's his game.
7 rebounds and 4 assists tonight as Alameen comes back into the game. Freeman goes out. Babel and Kirkland have left for UMass. Pretty gutty effort by the Minutemen here behind enemy lines, and they hung with UConn an awfully long time.
The inside is going to be a problem for him. I mean, boy, is that deep. I mean, he'd had a chance to go in, too.
2:39 to play. The Huskies on their way. It would appear to a 3-1 mark. They're up 14 on UMass. UConn about to make it 9 consecutive wins over UMass dating back to 1983. A very balanced effort for UConn tonight. Khalid Alameen with 16 points. Does not have an assist in tonight's game, which is odd for a point guard, but he still played very well.
Well, Dan, he played well and he scored points. He got so much help from the interior, but Khalid Alameen is the guy that has to create shots for them right now. Having lost Rip Hamilton, they've got to find another scorer to take some pressure off of Alameen. But as long as you can have that great inside play that we had here between Suleiman Wan and you go down the line, I mean, Bosco played well. Saunders had an excellent game. So all these guys are playing well. Alameen may not have to work that hard. Eventually, that's going to catch up with him. But today, it was impressive to see him get the shots off and make them.
Another night could it be Freeman. It could be Albert Mooring, who's a guy they're expecting a lot of offense from. And he hasn't had a huge offensive night, but UConn hasn't needed it because they've been so balanced tonight. More basketball coming your way Wednesday. First, it's the preseason NIT semifinals at 6 and then 8 Eastern over on ESPN. The surprising Irish take on number 9 Arizona, and then Maryland and Kentucky. Kentucky escaping with a win over Utah in the second round. And then the Maui Invitational Championship at 10:30 Eastern Time Wednesday night. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of the Go Network, go.com. DePina.
Oh, my goodness. Blizzard came out of nowhere to try to throw that one down, but they may have called him for an offensive foul.
And if it is on Blizzard, it's number 5.
I mean, you watch out of the left side of the screen and watch where he comes from and watch how high he gets. I mean, he is up there. No doubt about it. He came across the back. That is his 5th foul.
And it is number 5 on the Blizzard. That'll end his night right over the back of Saunders.
Getting a little assistance from the fans down here. The student body is telling them, na, 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 na.
There were some UMass students down there, but we saw a lot of maroon-clad folks head for the hills a couple of minutes ago as UConn stretched out what had been a close game into a double-digit lead. Chris Kirkland has checked back in for Blizzard.
The thing, you look at UMass, they couldn't get the shots they can make. They're 19 of 60. I mean, that's 31%. You just are not going to beat anybody with that kind of percentage.
They've had to rely more and more on long jump shots because they just couldn't get anything going inside. UMass ball.
Instead of back picking, I mean, they tried to kill it. they almost take a defensive man's head off. And a timeout's called by Khalid Al-Amin. And Bruiser Flint did a little jump stump because he didn't want the timeout to be allowed because he thought his guys had Khalid trapped.
Some of the UMass fans may have packed it in, but Bruiser's still working hard.
Bruiser's got to work hard. You got to give your team energy. You can't let them quit. And you see, they think they can have Khalid trapped. And Bruiser take a little hop jump right there real quick. And he knows, oh, we had it. But Al-Amin Jr. knows, take the little timeout.
As dominant as Connecticut has been within the Big East Conference in the 90s, they have been just as dominant, if not more so, outside of the conference. UMass has some tough non-conference games coming up. They have always prided themselves on playing a very difficult schedule. This one is not quite as difficult as some others in the past, but there are some potential landmines in there.
Detroit. Barry Watson does a great job. You go into Detroit thinking that you can just walk out of there with a win. You can make a mistake because Detroit is one of the mid-majors that now, and I think a lot more mid-majors are starting to get this to happen to them, that can get an at-large bid. They will play you anytime, anywhere, and beat you.
Kind of started or was accentuated a little bit a few years ago with the College of Charleston, a mid-major team that everybody was afraid of. And you see teams like Bradley and Siena, very good mid-major program.
Yeah, and deserving of that look at large.
Shot clock violation after the air ball by Robertson. UConn's got a tough schedule as well. Jim Calhoun's team will take on Arizona in the grade 8 on ESPN. And that'll Michigan State as well. And they've already, of course, played Iowa and Duke. The Big East schedule in conference has been reduced from 18 games to 16 games this year, which is something that everybody seems in favor of.
Yeah, 18 games is a lot of games. I think you end up playing 4 teams like 4 times or something, then you play the other ones once. And that might help lighten the load a little bit. 2 games and then going through the Big East tournament, that's pretty hard to do, particularly the way style of play of the Big East. It's a much more aggressive league, and it'll wear you out by the time you look to get yourself to the championship, to the Final Four. But obviously it didn't bother Jim Calhoun.
No. Mack continues to add to his total. UConn has been far and away the dominant team in the Big East in the 90s. 6 regular season titles, 4 tournament titles.
3 players of the year, 3 rookies of the year.
They have won back-to-back regular season and tournament titles in the Big East, and that's never been done before. And you'd have to think they're the prohibitive favorite to make it 3 in a row. Although there's some other good teams. Syracuse has 5 starters back. Miami has a quality team. St. John's has a lot of talent.
Yeah, all those teams, they've got to come through this door. You have to come through the Big East here. Georgetown will make a run at them, but this will be the team to beat. Syracuse, you got to like, they got 5 starters. You got, particularly when you maintain your backcourt, you have some sense of being able to protect the basket with Eton Thomas. That puts you in pretty good position.
Don't forget that next, Wayne Gretzky's Hall of Fame induction ceremonies right here on ESPN2. Tony Robertson coming back into the game for UConn and for Jake Bosco. Until that point, Jim Calhoun still had his 5 starters in the game.
He's just playing guys, just trying to get them comfortable. You know, we're talking about conferences. You can talk about the Big Ten, and I think this earlier, but the SEC is a conference you got to take a hard look at too. I mean, with Florida going to good, Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee.
It looks like a year of parity around college basketball. Already there have been some big upsets and no clear-cut team or 2 above everybody else, as many felt there were last year with Duke and UConn.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, people felt that Duke was the dominant team. Sure. And not many people, and I'll have to say I was one included, I thought that UConn could beat Duke. But what the UConn had that they could put on Duke was their defense was a lot quicker than you thought it was.
70-61, Connecticut leading at Massachusetts here with 1:13 to play. Down in St. Petersburg, the underdog Huskies, as Quinn mentioned, surprising Duke, who many considered invincible, 77-74. Richard Hamilton, the MVP of the Final Four, Trajan Langdon, couldn't handle it, lost control of the ball on that last possession. Rashamel Jones, Ricky Moore, Richard Hamilton, all gone from that team. But Jim Calhoun has brought in a great bunch of replacements. He says they're not as good as last year's team, but they've got a chance to be awfully good February and March. That's, of course, when he wants them to be at their best.
I don't think you can expect them to be as good. I mean, I'm telling you, you can't lose a Richard Hamilton. He's playing well at the next level. Moore could guard anyone, gave up his skills, just to be a good, solid role player. It's hard to do that. And that's really where they got the exposure, on the perimeter.
Trying to find an identity maybe a little bit right now. Elamine has so much personality. He's become the face of the team.
Dan, I think he'd give it up. I mean, I think he enjoys it. Don't get me wrong, but I think that if Alamine can find somebody else that can score and make plays, very much like he came in, he was trying to, if you will, be positioned to take it from Richard Hamilton. I think he will be willing to give that up for winning games, because it's going to be a load for him. The competition's too tough.
And whereas it was Hamilton every night last year, it may be a different teammate every night this year.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what this team should look for.
Look at Max spinning, and Saunders came over and committed the foul. Even Saunders has had an incredible jump in his step from the moment this game began.
Committing the foul number 51 and Saunders. His 4th personal foul at UConn City. Monty Mack goes to 2.
The other part, you take a look at the free throw situation, and it's pretty awesome. I mean, UMass is actually doing pretty good. For them, 11 of 19 is good. But if you're this small, you got to get to the foul line a lot more.
Mack at the line now with a game-high 24 points, but he's just 7 of 20 from the field. 6 of 19 in the win over Iona on Saturday. So a lot of attempts, a lot of points, but not a great percentage.
He's the focal point of the offense, and everybody knows it, so they guard him a lot more effectively, and they should, because he can make shots.
Don't forget, coming up after us, the Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremonies. Wayne Gretzky going into the Hall of Fame. We will join it as soon as this game concludes, which is under a minute away. Connecticut up 9, and they'll walk the other way.
We're now in that foul situation. Never give up. Let's see if Connecticut's going to make foul shots.
Chris Kirkland, his 4th personal foul.
Is Jim Calhoun pleased with what he's seen tonight?
The most disturbing, not disturbing. Yes, he's pleased. His effort was good. Guys came to play. Getting Kevin Freeman involved, that has not happened. And this was a game I think he thought he might be able to do it. But the problem with this, this game, is from a pure perimeter play standpoint. Freeman's going to struggle because these guys on the perimeter are pretty quick from UMass. And, you know, he may play some other guys that may not be as quick. They may be as strong as some other teams, but these guys are quick enough. But that's, to me, that's the only thing I think he'd have to worry about. Offensively, he saw a lot of good things.
Freeman 2 points on 1 of 8 shooting. Mack with the same spin move. This time gets the shot off, but can't hit, and another foul.
You got to take shots like that. You know you're in trouble. And he knows it. That's why he put his head in like that. He knows he's in trouble.
I'm wondering if he has aggravated that foot injury.
Boy, I tell you what, he is in some pain, and he knows he's hurt. I think he did.
Wow, that is terrible news for UMass if it's serious.
Yeah, because if they go to that left foot, and I think that's the one he's flexing a little bit. He goes there. He came down wrong. See, he took an awkward shot, and he was almost leaning back when he took the shot. And
he was suffering from a stress fracture in his left foot. Cost him a few weeks. Bruiser Flint told us this morning his healing powers and his pain threshold are incredible. He was back a lot quicker than they expected him back, but it appears he may have aggravated the injury here.
Well, he's got an injury, and I agree with you. Not only that, he had a tearing one of his meniscus, and he was back within a week. I mean, so he does heal fast. They never went to the foot. The only thing I saw the trainer look at, though, and this is probably good news for the UMass fans, they looked at a knee, but they didn't take it to see if it was stabilized or anything, so it didn't look like it was anything, you know, a real debilitating kind of injury, if you will.
Kirkland another basket and another timeout taken by UMass, which draws the wrath of the UConn fans here with under 30 seconds to play and the matter apparently in hand. Don't forget, coming up next, Wayne Gretzky's induction into the Hockey Hall of Fame. You will see it. We will join it in progress. It is just getting started. You will see it in progress here on ESPN2. And there is more basketball on Thursday on both ESPN and ESPN2. Start your Thanksgiving morning off with a little college basketball. The Puerto Rico shootout features Providence up against the #2 Michigan State Spartans. They're playing without Mateen Cleese, and they've got an awfully tough schedule over the next few weeks until Cleese comes back. And then at midnight Eastern, Thursday night, Thanksgiving night from Alaska, #11 Kansas, led by Eric Chenoweth, Kenny Gregory, and some very good freshman players as well, will take on Jim Herrick, the new coach in Georgia. Kansas and Georgia in the first round game from the Great Alaska Shootout. You'll not only see Michigan State down in Puerto Rico, DePaul is there, Texas is there, and up in Alaska, Len Elmore and I will look in on Kansas, Georgia Tech, Louisville, Xavier.
Oh, we'll get both of us will get to see some good teams. You know, I invite people on Thanksgiving Day, you know, get yourself a cup of coffee, 11 a.m., you know, get your little wake up, a little starter fluid.
Wake up early and then stay up late.
Stay up late, you know, then have a cup of coffee late, so you stay up some more.
And of course this week the tournament out in Maui going on as well.
Saw Gene Cady and his Purdue team playing well against Chaminade.
Florida, a 2-point winner over Utah State. North Carolina is out there as well. They're just getting started with USC. Georgetown and Memphis part of the Maui field as well. That'll be a couple of hours from now here on ESPN2, 11:30 Eastern time. At the line, adding to his totals. This game was within 6 at the half, and UMass got it back within 4 midway through the second half on a back-to-back three-pointers by Mack and DePina. But after that, just too much strength, too much depth for UConn. 2-on-1, Robertson and Freeman.
That's what, as a point guard, that's what Robertson's got to understand. You got a guy on the floor in Freeman that's struggling. You got to give him the ball back. He got the steal. He nicely threw it to you. Give him the ball back. Give him a little confidence, because that's the guy in the long run that's going to really help get you going where you're going. Just the outlet pass out to Freeman, and he just drops it over to Robertson. But this is being a little inexperienced in the situation. And then DePina fouls hard.
Massive changes now for UConn with this game at a hand and only 7.6 seconds to play. At the line of Robertson. Javon Johnson.
Pretty good athlete.
Possession.
He's a pretty good athlete. He'll run.
UConn goes to 3-1. They beat UMass for the 9th consecutive time. Big night for the big men. Suleiman Awan, Edmund Saunders, Ajo Deng, Jake Voskuil, they all had a hand in this one.
It was an impressive night, I think, for UConn. They got some play from the big people. The interior they want to get. Alameen ran it from the outside. That was solid. UMass has to be reasonably happy. They ran. They just didn't have the firepower to run with a better UConn team. And hopefully for Kevin Freeman and the Husky fans, he gets his confidence and they can go ahead and try to fight their way through what's going to be a tough season for the defending national champions.
UConn up to 3-1 on the season. UMass drops to 1-1. The final score here from Storrs, Connecticut, the UConn Huskies 79 and the UMass Minutemen 65 in the MassMutual U game, won by the Huskies on their home court here at Gamble. Good performance by all the big men as the Huskies go to 3-1. Don't forget, coming up next, the Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremonies featuring Wayne Gretzky, one of the greatest, maybe the greatest of all time, going into the Hall of Fame. For Quinn Buckner, I'm Dan Shulman, and thanks for watching from Storrs. Again, the final, UConn 79, UMass 65.